On their first expedition, the Spaniards were driven out of Tenochtitlan by the Aztec warriors, and many of them drowned in these waters, weighed down by the gold that they had looted from the palaces and temples. But the Aztec victory was short. Within a few months, the Spaniards were back to strip the city of its remaining gold, digging up the very foundations of the temples in their search. So completely did they destroy the city that now, to find an Aztec building still standing, you have to go far from the capital and into the country. And here the presence of the Aztecs is very vivid indeed. This is Malinalco, a small settlement in a remote valley about 70 miles south of Mexico City. And here they've survived one of the very few groups of comparatively undamaged Aztec buildings. The Aztecs were a warrior nation, and within 100 years, from somewhere near the beginning of the 15th century, they built themselves an empire. And this place, Malinalco, was one of the last bits of territory to be added to that empire. And here they built a small and beautiful temple dedicated to an order of military chivalry, the Knights of the Jaguar and Eagle. When this was new, it glowed with color, for all these sculptures were painted. The skin of the jaguar was painted yellow with black spots. The jaguar is a nocturnal animal, and the jaguar knights were dedicated to the god of the night sky. The eagle knights, they were dedicated to the god of the sun, for the eagle is a creature of the sun that floats in the sky. And when they went into battle, the eagle knights wore feathers on their back and the skull of an eagle with its beak over their forehead. In the same way, the jaguar knights wore tunics of jaguar skin. The Aztecs were fascinated by animals. Montezuma had his own palace zoo, where he kept creatures that were brought from all over the world that was known to him. And animals were also favorite subjects for Aztec sculptors. Not only the jaguar, but even such tiny creatures as a grasshopper, and, even more extraordinary, a flea, observed without the aid of lenses and carved from a block of lava over a foot long. The rattlesnake was of particular importance to them, for this animal was sacred. Their poets, too, celebrated the natural world, and since the Aztec language, Nahuatl, is still spoken, much of their verse is still alive.
Yaio, Yaio, Yahweh, Ayia, Ayia, Owaya. Makak, Tlayocoya, Makak, Kelnamiki, Intlatihpak, Ayawe.
Oh, you do not come twice onto the earth. Let us be happy. Does one take flowers along to the land of the dead? They are only lent to us. The truth is that we go. We leave flowers and singing and the earth. The truth is that we go. If it is only here on earth that there are flowers and singing, let them be our wealth. Let them be our adornment. Let us be happy with them.
Even in their poetry, the Aztecs were preoccupied with death. And if there is one symbol that obsessed them, it is the skull. This one is natural size, carved out of solid rock crystal. The Aztecs also engraved skulls on the rock walls of their altars and cast them in gold, and today skulls are still made out of sugar. These are sold at Halloween for the festival of the Night of the Dead. It's not a time of sorrow, but an occasion for making macabre jokes about death. You can buy sugar skulls in all sizes, huge ones, tiny ones, and ones with names on them that you can send to a special friend. Some people even make elaborate displays of cavorting sugar skeletons. Outwardly, the Night of the Dead is a Christian festival, and everyone goes down to the cemetery to tidy the graves, repaint them, and entertain the spirits of the departed with candles and music. The Aztecs too believed that men had souls, but what happened to them depended not on their conduct in life, but on the manner of their dying. Warriors killed in battle and men sacrificed on the temple altars went straight to paradise, where they lived in gardens filled with flowers. After 4 years, their souls returned to earth as hummingbirds or brilliantly colored butterflies. Death seems as vivid to the Mexicans as the god of death was to the Aztecs. He ruled over the souls of those who died of old age, and from his land there was no return. This magnificent golden image of him came from the tomb of a noble, for gold belonged largely to the aristocracy and the priesthood. It was sent to the emperor as tribute from all over his empire, which stretched 500 miles through Mexico from coast to coast. The lists which specified the tribute that each town had to pay fell into the hands of the Spaniards and revealed to them the full extent of Aztec wealth. So it was that they were able to demand and to obtain for Spain almost all the Aztecs' gold. The only pieces that survived are those that were buried in tombs. The finest pieces the Aztecs owned were made not by them, but by a neighboring people, the Mixtec, whose craftsmen were unexcelled. But the conquistadors seem to have had little appreciation of the beauty of such things. To them, it was the weight, the sheer quantity of the metal that mattered. The Aztecs watched them with scorn as they pillaged Montezuma's city.
They picked up the gold and fingered it like monkeys. They seemed to be transported by joy as if their hearts were illuminated and made new. The truth is that they longed and lusted for gold. Their bodies welled up with greed and their hunger was ravenous. They hungered like pigs for that gold.
But though the Aztecs possessed great quantities of gold, it was nothing compared with what the Spaniards were to discover some 10 years later when they turned their attention to Peru, 3,000 miles to the south. The riverbeds of the Andes were rich in gold, the yellow grains lying mingled with the sand and so heavy that it was easy to wash them out. One of the Spanish chroniclers, soon after the conquest, claimed that in all the country known to him, there was not a single river without gold. Higher up in the mountains, 10,000, 15,000 feet high, where the air gets thin, the gold occurs as yellow veins and spangles in the rocks. People came up here to mine it, and with it they made marvelous things.